Oh man, it has been a while since I've done a video like this. So in this video, I want to show you how I made this fence and added these decorations with all the greenery, all the trees. I have 5 tree templates that are not mine, but I stole them and I like to use them. And I want to build it on this side. I built this a few minutes ago and I figured, you know, somebody might find this useful. So I'll do the same thing here. But the only difference is there is an access road. There's 2 main reasons why I am building this. First of all, just to hide this rail back here. We're having some heavy rail with passengers and freight coming through. And of course, need to get rid of that. Of course, I just pasted those trees in, but I'll get to that in a minute. And the second reason, we have this Manchester area and Monstera. And if you come over here, wow, that tower is really tall and does not really fit with the aesthetic here. So I'm probably going to move this to another part of Monstera, maybe deeper in there. But it's tough to make a nice transition, especially when the styles are so different. So that's my plan for today. And I'm gonna show you how to do this in 2 steps. First step, the fence. Second step, the greenery. Today I'm playing on Cubed in the city of Andia. If you want to go to either of these places, type these warps on the screen. I am also using CubePack, so you can download that in the description. So the first step is to plan out where you actually want your fence. On this side, the barbed wire fence just goes pretty much right up against the bottom part of this hill. And that would be right here. However, there is a bit of an access road here. I added this a while ago with the intention of, I don't know, maybe I had it for garbage trucks coming to pick up garbage along the backside here for these buildings. But now I'm not too sure, so maybe I'll just use it as an access road for railroad employees if they need to get up here for some reason. So maybe what I'll do is I will put a fence here, roughly, and I will connect it to here. So this, I'm putting this up 3. This is going to be the maximum height of the fence itself. And then on top, I'm going to put green wool. So this is going to be the barbed wire. This is going to be the fence. So this will be the starting point. And I'm going to look straight ahead down this road. It's going to follow my cursor and go way down there. Make sure nothing is in the way. Looks good. Fly all the way down. The endpoint will be right here. Bring that up 3. Barbed wire on top. You can see it roughly lines up with that, and it's going to give us 1 or 2 blocks between the edge of this road and the fence itself. Next, take your World Edit wand, which for me looks like an actual wand. Put this right here, first position, second position right there. Is there a slant here? Yes, so you can see there is an elevation difference by 1. This is okay. And you're going to use the line command. Now on Cubed, for some reason, you cannot undo lines, so just be very careful with this. I'm going to select my green block and do /line hand, press enter. There you go, so that's going to be the barbed wire. Second, you're going to go and select the block below it. Going to go all the way over here, right here, same idea. There you go, see how it lines up perfectly? Just make sure it didn't mess it up in the middle. Looks good. So now what you're going to do, you're not going to stack this down yet. We are, however, going to add some blocks in between. So why are we doing this? Why can't we just replace this? Well, if I go ahead, I'm going to be using purple stained glass panes, but I'll give you some alternate materials if you're not using CubePack. If you make this in a line, they're not going to connect. If you go like this, they will. So what we need to do is not have them in a line like this. We need to bring them like this. So you're just going to fill all of these in. I do not know a way of doing this with World Edit, so I'm just going to do it all by hand. Yes, this is a little bit time consuming, but if you can find a better way to do this, please let me know in the comments. I did try to use the line command with a different thickness, but it made it 3 thick instead of 2, which I wanted like this. There's the top. Now we're just gonna go back along the bottom here. I'm sure there's ways to optimize this process. This is just a quick way that I learned. I could stack this down by 1 and just replace it all with yellow, but I don't want to do that. Sometimes it's nice just to place blocks instead of using World Edit all the time. Okay, and last block. So you can see if we fly up top, yes, thank you, stop lag is enabled. It is more thick. So when we go ahead and replace it with these purple stained glass panes, then it's going to look a lot better, which we'll see in a minute. Next, I'm going to go into a polygon selection instead of the cuboid selection, and then we're going to select this section. Now you may have to build out a little bit. Position 2, So this is position 1, that other one was position 2. I'm going to fly all the way to the end. Well, not all the way to the end, but to the end until the elevation change. Bring this out a little bit. Position 3, position 4, because we're just trying to surround this entire section. Pull this out a little bit. 5, fly all the way back, and 6. Get rid of those. So now we have this layer right here selected all the way around with a little bit of a margin on either side. Now we can stack it 2 down without air, and there you go. So it's all the way to the bottom. It did not mess anything else up because our selection is a polygon selection. And now we can do the same thing with this one. Position 1, bring it out a little bit. 2, all the way to the end. 3, 4, number 5, fly all the way back down once again, and then complete it with number 6. And then same idea, same command, just bringing it all the way down to the ground. Now I'm going to get rid of this. I'm just going to leave this one for now. This one's going to be a gate. Now we can change back into the cuboid, which is the regular selection. So if I go like 1, 2, set red, it's just going to be a cube. Now we are going to select position 1 and then fly all the way down here. Just make sure nothing else around it is the same color of wool within your selection. So our selection is going to be right down here, and it's going to be a box all the way to that section right there. Fly all the way down here, select this bottom part, and now what we can do, we can take the green wool and replace it with cobwebs. There you go. Let the lighting do its thing, and the cobwebs are in place. And now we can do the same thing with the yellow wool and the purple stained glass pane here in CubePack. Let's go ahead and do that. Now let's see, did I mess it up? So see how this part is messed up? It went inside the ground, and that's clearly not what I want. So I should have done this command before I stacked the yellow downwards. Global mask 0, which is your air, grass, and wheat. So the reason for that, we have grass, we have wheat. We want it to go into the air as well, but it's not going to replace any of this ground section right here. But this is not too bad, so let me just replace this by hand. This is the fence fixing of shame. That's okay. There we go. So that should be the only part that got messed up. The rest of it should be okay. I know the lighting's a little bit annoying, but that's all right. So see how it's not connected for most of them? What I'm gonna go ahead and do is this really fancy world edit command that is one of my favorites. I'm going to use /fix connect, press enter, and look at that, all fixed. Now this is just the texture pack being weird, but for the most part, it looks pretty good. So there you go. You have your fence. If you want to, you can go back into your polygon selection and select around your fence. Fly all the way to the end. Select here as 3, and then let's go right there as 4. And then we can replace this grass with maybe some dirt and gravel. So let's replace 2 with dirt, coarse dirt, and gravel. You know what? I feel like we should add a little bit more gravel. There you go. No, never mind. That looks bad. Let's try just that. Take out the grass. Come on, server. You can do it. There we go. Oh, and then this down here, this is green concrete powder and mycelium. So I'm going to replace those ones as well. Put those 3 in. Same idea. There you go. Problem solved. Now my selection wasn't big enough. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to manually replace these other ones. Little something like that. There you go. Doesn't look too bad. It looks a little bit weird. Maybe I'll add some plants over top of it later. But I want to get on to the second part, which is decorating this hill. I'll show you how to change it just from a regular grass hill into something like this. Add all of this greenery on top with one command, super easy, and then I'll show you how to add those trees. So I'll make a fake hill for a demonstration since I've already completed this one. So the first step, change your selection to a polygon selection, and then you're going to select your area. Left click for position 1, right click for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, however many you want. I think it goes up to 50 or 60. Now, if you're in default, you can definitely choose some blocks aside from grass, but for me, I'm gonna go ahead and replace grass with 3 blocks. First of all, there's still gonna be grass. 1/3 grass, 1/3 mycelium, and 1/3 green concrete powder. So since I have this selected, I'm just going to type that command, /replace, 2 is grass, 2, mycelium, green concrete powder, press enter, there you go. Next, we're going to use the overlay command. You'll type /overlay, and then every block that you want. So I have air, 2 ferns, grass, carrots, beetroots, and then 2 more air, because as I was creating this, I was just experimenting. So with your area still selected, do that, and then it'll just put it over top. So the difference, if we undo, between that and replace, and then instead of overlay, we're going to replace 0 with those. It's gonna look something like this. This one is on top of that. We don't want that, so we're just gonna use the overlay command. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm still going to add a fence that goes across here and connects to this pillar here, but I'll do that off camera. Great, so now that we know how to make this hill look exactly like this, I am going to show you how to add the trees properly so that it doesn't overwhelm it. This is supposed to be very, very green, very dense, lots of greenery going on. You're not supposed to see what's on the other side, but there's a fine balance to it and you don't want to overdo it. You also don't want to underdo it either. But let's go ahead and I'll show you the easy way using this fancy pencil here of adding your 5 types of trees. I'm not going to show you how to make these trees because they're not mine, but I will show you how to add them in. So first of all, once you have your tree and you put it in the air, make sure that you're selecting the entire tree, but not from right here. This is not your position 1. Select it 1 down, so you have a gap right below it. Take those out, find the other corner, go all the way up, position 2, enter. So now your selection is from here right to here. Go down 1 below your tree. Do not go at the same level, 1 down. Copy -B, that is the biome. If you're not using CubePack, don't worry about it. But what you'll do next, go into your tools, take any of your tools, put it in your hotbar. I'm using the diamond hoe, and then type this command, /tool, clipboard -O-A, press enter. And then if you right click, okay, all right, let me try this again. Okay, my copy paste isn't working. Let me relog. Okay, let's try this again. Position 1, fly up here. Position 2, copy with the biome, /tool, clipboard -O-A, press enter. Right click. Why is this not working? Come on. All right, problem solved. Make sure to change back to your cuboid selection. Let's try this again. Position 1, position 2, copy -B, take your tool, boom, there you go. And it's right at ground level. If you don't add this gap here, it's gonna go into the ground, which is kind of annoying. Now that I have this small tree on my clipboard, and notice the order that I do this in, I'm gonna start with the smallest, go for a slightly larger, a medium tree, a very large tree occasionally, and then I'm going to add these ones as well. So the first 4 are pine trees, just for the general density. And then this larger, I don't know what type it is, an oak maybe? It's just going to fluff it up a little bit, as you can see right here. I don't want to put any in this corner because I'm probably going to make a little park or something, not sure. But the fence is definitely going to cut right through here. So let's start on this side. I don't want to put them too close to the tracks here because of course the trains need to come through. Try your best not to make them floating, but of course it does happen. But it's not that big of a deal because we're going to have a lot of larger trees covering it up. So that's a pretty good density for these smaller ones. Let's go down here, have a look, see how it feels. Yep, that definitely feels like a forest. Along the road here, let's make sure that they're all connected to the ground. All right, I did not do a good job of this. But now that we have the smaller ones in, this one is all done. So let's go ahead and start on the second one. So same idea, make sure you select the entire thing. In your cuboid selection, mat, not the polygons. Position 2, fly all the way down, make sure you are 1 below. Copy -B, and then you're going to have to do the same command. It will not remember. Right click, make sure it works at ground level, looks good. As the trees get larger that you're pasting in, you do have to be more strategic about it. Notice how it goes up, a little bit down, up, stays pretty low for a while. You have the 2 bushy trees and then goes back up at the end. Don't overdo it with the big ones. Again, I want this to be very, very dense. I want it to be like a brush that, you really just can't walk up here. It's supposed to be a deterrent from going up to these tracks, even if you do make it on the other side of this barbed wire. So that's tree number 2. Let's go ahead and do tree number 3, which is this one here. Keep it nice and dense right there. Okay, did that just swallow up an entire other tree? I think so. Yeah, it did too. Okay, right there. It's called natural selection trees. Get used to it. All right, yep, looks good. So next, let's go to tree number 4. So now we have to be a little bit more strategic. So what I'm actually going to do, since we are trying to maybe hide the base of these skyscrapers from this area over here, I'm going to crank up my render distance. And I'll fly around, load some chunks here in the, well, not city, I guess it's a neighborhood now of Monstera. Get all these skyscrapers, got the crane here. It doesn't matter if you get the bottom chunks, you're just trying to get the position of the buildings, just to get a good feel for what you're covering and what you're not. You're essentially creating a view corridor. So now that you have most of them in place, I think that's okay. We'll fly back over here. And let's see. Okay, so we are in this park. I think I'm going to move this tower. So maybe what I want to do, this looks a little bit bare. So maybe I will add some trees right here. That is very large. Let me put it down the hill a little bit more. There you go. Fly back over here. How does that look? Not too bad. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, so that's tree 4 of 5. Now let's get some of these larger oak trees. Now I do not want to use it where these really tall pine trees are. So let's see where they are not. So tall pine tree, and then they kind of start back over here. These ones are a little bit taller, but this stuff right here is pretty sparse. So maybe if I do something like this, that could look pretty good. I'd have to cut into this, make sure the trains can get by. You know, it kind of gives you a bit of fluffiness there. Now let's see, do I want a second one? So I mean, there are areas that are bare, but of course, you know, that's just nature, that happens. So I think it honestly makes it more realistic if you do have a little section that you can walk up. You know what, I think that looks pretty good. What do you guys think? That's not too bad. So I think that's it. Leave a like if you found this useful and you want me to do more tutorials like this. But my name is Matt, thanks for watching.